Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing a first impression on the Wet n Wild Photofocus foundation. I just picked this up this morning from the grocery store. I've heard a lot about it on YouTube, particularly from Tati, who is one of my favorite YouTubers. I know that she really likes this foundation a lot, and so if it's good enough for Tati, it's good enough for me. So I wanted to give it a try. I have not applied it. I literally got it about an hour ago, and I have everything else on except foundation. I did apply a little concealer, but I have nothing on my face as in terms of foundation goes. So before we get started, I'm going to give you the rundown really quickly on this foundation. So it's by Wet n Wild. It is the Photofocus foundation. I picked up the shade Soft Beige. I hope that this works for me. It says it's light medium, which I think is good for me. I typically, if I can't find a shade that I feel like is an exact match, I usually go on the lighter side than the darker side because I can always bronze it up or deepen it with a bronzer, and I'd rather kind of add bronzer to my neckline than have a really dark demarcation line from the foundation. So I always tend to go on the lighter side. I think this is going to be a good shade for me though. In the summer, it's probably going to be a little bit light, but like I said, I can compensate with foundation. with bronzer. So you do get 1 fluid ounce. It on the website, on Wet n Wild's website, it retails for $5.99. I think I got it for under $5 at H-E-B, which is our big grocery store chain here. So depending on where you buy it from, I'm going to say anywhere from $4.50 to $6. It comes in 20 different shades, so it has a wide shade range. I'm going to read you the description from the Wet n Wild website. It says, "Your skin only better. Our new high-performing skin perfecting foundation underwent major road testing under 7 different photo lighting conditions to deliver flawless camera-ready makeup every time." Okay, that sounds good. "Specifically made with a matte light diffusing complex to give your skin no filter perfection. High-performing breakthrough formula featuring light adjusting complex to help prevent white cast in photos." So I guess that's where the name Photofocus comes from. Is it supposed to photograph well? Some foundations can photograph a lot lighter. So if you notice in a lot of your pictures that your skin looks a lot lighter than the rest of your body, but you don't notice that when you're looking in the mirror, it's because your foundation is not photo friendly. Tested under 7 light conditions with and without the use of flash. So it sounds really great. I like that it says it's your skin only better. So to me, that makes me think it's going to be pretty natural looking on the skin. So let's see what kind of coverage I get. I did bring a beauty blender to apply, and then I also brought my IT Cosmetics brush to apply. These are my 2 favorite ways to apply foundation, depending on the thickness and the texture of the foundation. And again, I have no idea what this feels like because I have never used it. So I brought both of them so I can kind of see how I want to apply. Oh, okay. So I didn't expect that, and I don't know why, because I actually have seen this tested on YouTube, but it has like a little spatula applicator. So I guess that's nice. You know, I was thinking if it doesn't have a pump, then I guess my next best choice would be a spatula, so I don't have to use my finger. So what I'm going to do is, this is what I'll do. I'll apply one side with the beauty blender and one side with my brush, and we'll see which way I like better. I don't have any primer on. I just have my Rodan & Fields regular moisturizer. I know some people like to test foundations with primers and some don't. I don't, because I really kind of want to see how this foundation is going to perform on its own. So I'm going to choose to opt out of a primer today. So I always like to kind of start with a lighter application of product and then go back and add more if I need more. Okay, so we're going to start there. And I think first, it doesn't feel thick to me. Let me see what it feels like on my hand. It doesn't feel thick to me at all. So my initial thought is that I want to use my foundation brush for this, because I think that's going to be the best way to move the product around and not waste any. So I'm going to use my brush. Whenever I do foundation, I always start by kind of just pressing my brush, almost working it as if it were a beauty blender. So instead of like going in and buffing and blending right away, I kind of just go in to kind of press it. What this is going to do is it's going to allow you to get the maximum coverage from the product that you're using. If you go in right away and start blending and moving your brush around in circles, what you're kind of doing is you're shearing that product out. So I don't want to do that initially. Initially, I want to get coverage, then I want to go back and blend the edges. So after I kind of have worked it into my skin, then I'll go and I'll just kind of buff the edges. But this foundation actually blends out super easily and quickly. I mean, you almost don't even need to move your brush around. You can kind of just stipple your brush on your skin and it does all the work for you. Holy moly. Okay, my initial first impression is this stuff is awesome. I mean, I can't believe how easy that was to blend out. It feels so thin and lightweight on my skin. And the coverage is actually pretty decent. I mean, I don't know if I would say full coverage, but it's definitely not sheer. It's more on the heavier medium side. And I don't feel like I used a lot of product. Oh my gosh, you guys, I think this is pretty impressive. I mean, this is impressive. But right now what I'm doing is not even necessary. It's kind of done. I mean, okay, wow, that was pretty, I'm kind of blown away. Sorry, I'm like at a loss for words. I don't even know what to say right now. I'm pretty impressed. So the finish initially looks like a natural matte finish. It doesn't look powdered or like dry, but there's definitely not like a dewiness or a luminosity or a glow to it. It pretty much looks like a velvety matte finish on my skin. I think this shade is a good shade for me. I definitely want to warm it up with some bronzer, but I feel like it blends into my skin pretty easily. Okay, so let's go and try the Beauty Blender side. Although I think I'm gonna want to keep it. I think I'm gonna probably apply this with a brush. So because I'm gonna apply it with the Beauty Blender, I'm gonna apply a little bit more because the Beauty Blender will kind of absorb some of your product. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a try with the Beauty Blender, but I would probably say that I would probably suggest to apply this with a buffing brush. Okay. Okay, so it applies really nicely with the Beauty Blender. I will say that the application looks a little more sheer, not as full coverage as the brush, and I think it's just because my Beauty Blender is absorbing a lot of this product. Both applications look pretty, but I definitely have more coverage on this side than I do on this side, and I think that's all in the application. I applied about the same amount, so the only difference really is how I applied it. So depending on what kind of coverage you like, you may prefer one method over the other. I prefer the brush because even with the brush, it doesn't look heavy. It doesn't feel heavy, it's just more coverage. Okay, I'm gonna go back and add a little more coverage. You can see a lot of my kind of sunspots there. I'm gonna go and cover those a little bit more. Let's see how this builds. I'm gonna see if you can build it to get more coverage if you want. I'm just gonna kind of press that here. That's kind of a lot. So I did apply a little more than I wanted there, so I am gonna stick with my Beauty Blender to kind of absorb that extra product. This looks so beautiful. Wow, I am impressed, you guys. The last drugstore foundation that I picked up was the Milani 2-in-1 Perfecting Foundation, I think it's what it's called, something like that. And I like that one. That one definitely looks a lot heavier than this one though. But I like that one. The wearability on that one's really nice. So I'm curious to see how this is gonna wear throughout the day. I'm not gonna powder, even though normally I would. I'm not gonna powder this because I wanna kind of see how it wears. Okay. So it did give more coverage. I can still see in the camera more so than I can in the mirror, but I can still see a little bit of my skin peeking through, which is fine. This is about as much coverage as I like anyway. I like more on the full coverage, but I don't like to look full coverage, you know? So it's kind of like a delicate balance in finding a foundation that's gonna give you good coverage like this, but not look heavy or cakey. I think this is beautiful. Okay, so let me go ahead and apply my blush. I already have lipstick on, but I think blush is all I need to apply, and then we will check back in. I do want to talk really quickly about this blush. I just picked this up recently. It's by Natasha Denona, and it is the blush in the shade, it's the number 7 palette. So it's Tutu and Natural Beige is the blush color. She has a really beautiful peachy and pinky one, but even though I was like kind of pulling that direction, I avoided buying those because I have hundreds of blushes, well not hundreds, but I have a ton of blushes already those colors, so I wanted to buy something a little different. Plus I thought that this would work as a bronzer as well as a blush. I'll be honest though, I'm not quite sure how I feel about this blush yet. I've been using it for a few weeks and I can't say that I am blown away with it like I am with her eyeshadows. The color is really nice, but I don't think it really blends into the skin as easily as the shadows do. I have other blushes formulas that I like better than this formula that are a lot less. This color is nice though because it does kind of work as a blush and a bronzer shade together. You do have to work a little harder to blend this. You can kind of tell it's kind of wanting to stick to my skin. Okay, you guys, so I have got to say this foundation, if this still looks like this in several hours and throughout the day, this is going to be my new favorite foundation. I love the way that this looks. It looks filtered. Like it looks like I've taken a photo editing app and just smoothed my skin out. I am so impressed by the way this looks. It feels really, really lightweight. The texture is really lightweight. It blends out super easily. So far I am gonna say this is a 10 out of a 10. Let's check back in throughout the day and see how this wears. Right now it is 12:07, so it's noon. I do have family coming over for lunch today and dinner, and we'll be around all day. So I'll be moving and grooving today. So I think that this will be a good test to see how this foundation wears out throughout the day. So anyway, thank you guys, and I will see you guys in just a few. Hey you guys, okay, so it's 9:20. I've had the foundation on for just over 9 hours now. I haven't touched it at all, so I haven't powdered or blotted or done anything today that would alter the way that it looks right now. And I have to say I'm pretty impressed. I was blown away with it earlier when I applied it, and I'm still really impressed with the way that it has held up throughout the day. It wasn't really hot here in Austin, but it was very humid. It stormed earlier, so there was a lot of like moisture in the air, and I did get out of the house. I went and got my nails taken off. I had SNS and I just had that removed. So I did get out of the house. I was outside a bit. We had family over and barbecued, so I did get outside. My skin was exposed to the humidity and it still stayed up pretty well. Obviously, I could probably use a touch-up in some places, but I mean, even if I didn't, I think that it looks really great. It didn't really gather in any lines or around my nose. This is typically where I get foundation that'll build up, especially if I work with like a full coverage foundation. I get a lot of buildup right here on the nose, and I really don't have any of that. I mean, yeah, I don't really have any of that. The only areas that when I look at my skin, the only areas that I feel like I need to touch up are actually underneath my eyes. So that's my concealer, not even the foundation. And then my eye makeup, which is starting to crease. But if I were just to isolate and look at the foundation, I feel like it looks pretty good. Definitely impressed with this foundation. Definitely recommend this foundation. It is lightweight. It's more on the medium fullish coverage. Very beautiful, lightweight, doesn't look overly matte, but it doesn't have a shine to it either. So I am going to give this foundation a 2 thumbs up. I highly recommend it. I'm definitely going to be grabbing this tomorrow and the days, weeks to come. I'm really, really glad that I gave this foundation a shot. I recommend that you guys do too. I think you'll like it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys on my next one. Bye.